Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Totally Broken Opinions, a solo episode, so a TB solo. Today's episode is The Bear Season 3/1/2, because I'm going to be talking about all of it. So if you haven't watched any of The Bear, this is your spoiler warning, because I'm going to be doing spoilers for Season 1, Season 2, and Season 3, because I really like this show. I haven't really enjoyed a show quite this much in a while, in terms of like just the sheer density that each episode brings. Like, they're only about 30-minute episodes, but they have so much dense, like, they're so like full in terms of episodes, that it's hard to describe. But I'm going to try my best, and we're going to start more or less just talking about what I liked, what I didn't like, what things just happened in the show. There's no real structure to this. If I bring up stuff from season 2 and 1, then that's, again, this is your spoiler warning for all of that. So let's just start with episode 1. This is more of just a catch-up, sort of just flashy images on screen episode. Not much happens in it. It's dealing with the ramifications of season 2, where Kami has basically fucked up immensely, and it's just basically showing glimpses of his life. It's not the most important episode, but I do like it. I did find myself engaged with just the images. It doesn't have much dialogue. There's very little speaking. It is just, I think it's like flashbacks to when he started his journey into becoming a chef, and all of these images, and him going to different places, and him like just reflecting on his life up until the moment that he fucked it all up, because he accidentally said the worst thing possible at the worst time possible to the person that he could not have imagined ever saying it to. And yeah, mostly it's, like I said, images, and like flashes, and like just scenic and pictures of food. But it is telling the story, because it's just catching you up from season 2. We get confirmation that Marcus's mum has died, unfortunately, because at the end of season 2 you're left on the cliffhanger of a bunch of missed phone calls. And you then get basically kind of just Kami trying to console with Sid, and like reflect and stuff, and tell her he's sorry for abandoning, basically, because he gets locked in a thing and he fucks up and everything just goes to shit. And then he apologizes to Richie, and you learn that he hasn't. I think he does apologize to Claire, but I don't think after that. What I liked about this season is, in terms of stuff happening that you would expect to happen in this season, like, Kami gets back together with Claire, or at the end, because the whole thing is Kami's determined to get a star in this. So he goes full psycho, and this is, I think, episode 2. And so he basically wants to get a star for the restaurant, and at the end of this season, none of those questions that you're wanting answered are answered. He's not back together with Claire. He hasn't even spoken to Claire at all through the entire show, except for like one phone call, I think. And you're then left on the I think this was the hard part, that I didn't love the ending, but I think mainly because I think it goes by too quickly, because it's one shot of a phone, and it's a Google alert, and it says the review for his restaurant, basically, and you don't see whether or not it's a good or a bad review, but he just seems fucking pissed at that moment. So you're like, because I can't remember if it says who wrote the review, but also his phone is full of notifications, because he's notoriously bad at answering his phone and responding to people. So I didn't get the best glimpse at the phone screen. So if anyone has taken a screenshot of that, I did roll back just to try and, because I was like, why is he pissed? I assumed it was for the review because the whole thing is building up to the review. So, but I thought it showed what happened in the review. But yeah, you do have text message or like notifications from people as well. So that was the only thing I found a bit hard to follow. Other than that, this season, whilst I don't think it is as good as season 2, and unfortunately that's just no fault of its own. I think this one has to struggle with the ramifications, and I think this is just the setup to season 4. If it gets season 4, hopefully it does. I really like this show, but it's got a good episodes. I think. Which is the one that I think the best episode is episode 8, Ice Chips, for me, because that's Natalie's basically. Everyone in the restaurant's basically tied up. Pete's on like some trip, and she basically can't. I think the reason why is because the Kami's actions have basically caused everyone to put their phones in lockers so no one can read them whilst they're at work. And so Natalie goes into labor, and her water breaks, and so she's in the car trying to get back to the hospital, and trying to get through to people, but it just so happens at the time that they've started work and Pete's on holiday, coming back from a trip, and so on and so forth. And basically the stress is just fucking building and building and building. And then throughout the show, she hasn't messaged her mum because she's trying to avoid having her mum's stressful vibe impact the child. And this is the reconciliation episode for those two. So Jamie Lee Curtis, and I can't remember she's basically very good. And it's just, it's very stressful because it does that thing in in a movie or TV show where it has a constant beeping, and the beeping then ramps up because it's the heart rate monitor. So she's in labor. So all of the I can't remember if it is, but essentially all of the stressful moments where like they need to enunciate like intensity, her heart rate goes up, and so all of the the intense beeping goes up and up and up and up, and it's good. I think that's just a good way of doing it. I really enjoyed it. It's nice to see those two reconcile, even if they haven't solved all their problems. But it also feels manipulative in that episode because it's not intentionally manipulative, I don't think, because it basically starts with Jamie Lee Curtis's character coming in as the mum to what's the word? Help. Why did I struggle with that? As whatever. And so she comes in, and Natalie hates. She wants to do natural, no drugs, and Jamie Lee Curtis is basically going, no, you want it done this way. And now she basically Nellie's basically whole thing is she doesn't want her mum's stressful energy coming in and ruining it, and that's why she hasn't told her or contacted her or anything like that throughout the whole thing. And so it's very interesting that you start seeing these dynamics, the shifts in dynamic, because she's very much wants to do it this way, and she's worried that her mum's going to manipulate her to do it away, and then her mum's suggesting things to do it. And then throughout the course of the episode, Natalie does end up swinging to her side, because I think Natalie is a people pleaser and her mum's very demanding. And even though she knows that what she wants isn't to do it this way, she's coming around to her mother's ideas because of the situation, and her mum knows what she's doing. But I don't know. It just felt a little bit like, is this intentionally that the mum knows what's going on, so she knows that her daughter will do it because she suggested it early on, and now Natalie's getting to a place where she's comfortable, but she's also becoming a child again, going for comfort in her mother. I don't know. It was just like, I didn't know. I have never given birth. I would probably never give birth at any stage of my life because I'm a dude. Who knows with modern medicine? But I don't know how realistic this is to pregnancy because I'm only 26, 25. I'm becoming 26 at some stage. That was the thing. Next week, no episode because that's over my birthday. So I probably won't be able to record or don't want to. So yeah, if you're listening next week, we won't have an episode, but we'll come back the next week. But yeah, so that whole situation I can't relate to, but I understand I know she's not giving birth because she's just acting, but fuck me, did it feel like she was actually giving birth in that moment. Or like in those moments where it was just like she was the pain, the he, like she initially, because that's the thing. The mum basically goes, look, you when they first meet, she's like, you got to start breathing, you got to go he, and Nellie's just not having any of it because she fucking can't stand that her mum's coming in and controlling everything. And then throughout the thing, she's just like, no, just he, and Nellie starts doing it, and it's just like, it all just naturally flows, and it works. And I'm just like, is that why people do it? But yeah, I just really liked that one. What else happened? What else ones? Napkins. So I think we get this one's the episode where Tina, we get the backstory of. We get how she came to the bear, originally the beef, or whatever, the original beef. And so like how she steps into the thing. I felt this would have been good in season 2 because a lot of season 2 is her like story of how she becomes like a good chef. So I don't know. I feel this one, it's good to have. Like I really enjoyed it, but it could have been in season 2. Maybe like it was good, but I'm glad we're getting like these backstories of characters. But yeah, so we see her being laid off from her job of like 15 years, then the struggles of finding a job in the current day, because she's like 40 plus, and so everyone's looking for a younger person, or she doesn't know how to do LinkedIn and Indeed and all of these job things because she's old school, because she's been doing the same job for 15 years. And then she finally gets a job interview where she's like, yeah, I'm qualified for all of this, but because she doesn't have her like education side of things, they can't hire her because they're looking for the education side, so they'll normally hire within and all of that. So she leaves that, and then she finally, and they're struggling because rent's going up and all of this, and her husband's stuck in a job where they're never going to promote him, even though he keeps believing that he will. And the kids, just a hassle. Just day-to-day life, just the struggle of the average person, really. And I love all of that. And then you get... this was the reason why I liked it, because I think in either... I think it's episode 1, you get like a moment where John Bernthal and Tina are sitting down at a table. I can't remember if it's the episode 1 or episode 2, but somewhere in the show before this, there's a moment where John Bernthal shows a photo of, I think it's episode 1, a thing like that Kami has sent to his brother, so to John Bernthal, and he shows it to Tina, And it's just a moment where it's like, look at this. And she goes, what the hell is that? And he goes, I don't know, but whatever. And then my brother sent it. And then in this episode, you get that moment, but you get all the backstory behind it. So it's John Bernthal as Kami's brother. And so Tina's just come in because she's just come from a job offer that basically just cancelled the job because they hired someone but didn't let anyone know. And she's pissed and she's angry and she's buses have been delayed and stuff like that. So she's just gone to the restaurant that's nearby, and she goes in, grabs a sandwich, and then starts just breaking down in the restaurant. And John Bernthal's like, yeah, it's a shitty day. And I just love their conversation. And it's just, the dialogue in this show is phenomenal. Like, it's so well written. Like, you can't get better dialogue in a show. Like, it's so engaging. Like, I didn't look at my phone once throughout this show. Because you're just like, even episode 1, I was just like, no, this is all visual. Like, if I miss something, I'm gonna be upset. Like, all of this, I'm sure, has relevancy to later later episodes, or has relevancy to past episodes, because it all just so tightly woven and well fitted. It's just nice to have a show that does that. But yeah, so their whole conversation is really well done. I think it's the only time you really see John Bernthal do something in this season. But it's so impactful because it shows how kind he is, even though he doesn't know what he's doing. It shows Tina's determination in this episode. Yeah, I think it was just like, it's not about the place or the thing, it's just about the people. You got to enjoy the people that you work with, and you won't work a day in your life, I guess. What else? So yeah, so we basically get, for Sydney this season, is she basically gets so the whole thing is the character arc for Sydney is Kami's basically decided that she's going to co-own the restaurant with them, and it's a lot of pressure on her, and they keep trying to get her to sign the paperwork of the deal. And so does Sydney want this? And then she gets approached by a former colleague or someone she knows, because Olivia, I can't fucking remember the Olivia Colman's character from season 2 shutting down her restaurant, and because just like because I think she's just done. I think she's just done with the stressful life. She wants to be able to sit and relax and all of that stuff. So she's just closing her restaurant, and so one of her former employees, like I think the head chef or whatever it is going to start his own restaurant. And so he goes to Sydney and asks, would you like to be a part of my restaurant? Because you'll get full control. And he doesn't want to be cooking. I think he wants to just be running it. So he's going to give her full control. And throughout the bear, Sydney's basically just been Kami's punching bag, and like everyone, like from season 1, she was like no one, like everyone hated her because she was coming in to do Kami's dirty work basically, and Kami's like never really agreed with her choices essentially, because there's a scene basically where that she's about to tell him, but he keeps changing, because his whole thing is he's changing the menu each day to try and perfect it, and no one likes it. Everyone hates it. It struggles. She never stands up to him because she's like, oh, just let him do his thing. And I trust everyone, but I also struggle with this, and everyone's struggling, and it causes a rift between him and Richie, and everyone, because front of house can't keep up, and no one likes doing it. But her thing is that Kami keeps undermining like her food choices, because it's like, oh yeah, we'll do this menu, and then he just changes it and never gives any notice or anything like that. So she's feeling like undervalued. She's gone out on her own because she goes and gets a new apartment, despite her dad's concerns that it's a bit more expensive and it means they're going to struggle, and all of that. And it's further from work, and it's all just this. But is she going to move to the other place, and maybe it's closer to there? But yeah. So yeah, but then at the end of the thing where she's gone to the funeral for Eva, I think it's the restaurant was called, with Kami and everyone who knew Olivia Colman's character, because Kami invites her because she's about to tell him, and then she gets invited. She then goes back to her apartment, her new place, with everyone to celebrate and like have fun and drink and all of that, and just relax and let loose. And then she starts having a panic attack because I think she's realized that she likes the people, and she doesn't know whether or not she can tell them that she's going to leave and go do her own thing. Because she's just been listening to all these other chefs that have been telling her about how they don't want to work for a bad boss, and all of this, and all of these stories about how they went on their own and did all of this, and like a good boss would respect and like nurture that, and all of this. And Kami's, yeah, it's just good. I'm glad they don't answer the question of whether or not, like, I was expecting her to tell Kami this season that she's gonna leave, or she wasn't gonna leave. Like, I'm glad that decision is left open. Like, it would annoy me if the show didn't get a season 4, but I'm glad that it like doesn't wrap it up. I don't know. I feel like that's probably a lot of the reason people don't love this season, is because a lot of the questions that are asked aren't answered. But ultimately, yeah. What else? Richie's arc this season is his daughter has been told by his mother that he's lonely, and he's pissed at Kami because of what happened in season 2, and then all of the decisions that Kami is doing now, where he's basically trying to change the menu. He's got the responsibility now of front of house, and he's dealing with all of that. He's trying to get his team motivated. Carmen keeps changing the menus and all of this, and he has to get them to learn. And it's a struggle for everyone, and it just causes friction. And he's trying to do that, and he's trying to deal with his life, and he then goes and meets up with, because his ex-wife is now getting married again to Frank. I think it was Frank. And so he's been invited to the wedding, and he doesn't know if he hasn't RSVP'd yet, because he has a good relationship with his ex-wife and he loves his kid, and he's wondering whether or not it's better to just let the kid go with the ex-wife and husband and not be a part of their life, to not confuse and complicate things, and whatnot. And I love his moment with Nat, where it's just like they're talking because she's having a child, and he's wondering whether or not he should just leave. Like, he does that conversation with her, and they're just like, no, don't do that. Like, I just love that moment. It was just nice, because it's those two never got along, but they always did get along. Like, but I like that they have something in common now, and they can talk about, and they're seeing each other on the same page, sort of thing. But yeah, so I was expecting this season, because there's the front of house lady or the person who runs the kitchen, basically, because he has a phone call because he rings up about the death of Eva, and she trained, like, taught him how to do his thing and showed him the fun in it and all of that. And I thought, because the lonely arc, because they're leaving, and this is what I thought would happen, is he would ask her to come work for them, like come to the Bear, because they're looking for jobs, because they don't know, but they haven't really done anything yet. So I thought they were either going to work together and they were going to form a little romance, or they were going to form a little romance, and then she starts working there and helps like smooth out some of, like, help smooth out by like helping and running it, and they're having like, they have their synchronicity. But that didn't happen. So I'm hoping it kind of happens in season 4, because I think those two work well together. And there is I feel like there is the tension there that could bloom into something. But I'm also happy if they just stay friends. I think their dynamic works either way. But I thought it would make Richie have someone who understands his job and like his profession and all of that, and give him someone, like, I don't know. I just felt like those two get along well. So I'm happy if they stay friends, but I'm also like, yeah, it makes sense that they'd get together if they did, because there's definitely a tension. Then what else? So yeah, let's talk about Carmen, or Carmi, or whatever. His arc is basically just throw himself into his work and just ignore all his problems and just cause so much destruction for everyone else. Because he's got his non-negotiable thing, controversial among everyone. And it's just, you have to do this no matter what. And he just refuses to acknowledge anyone's like attempt to negotiation, because it's just like, no, this is how we're going to be the best. If you don't like it, fuck you, essentially. And it just causes so much tension throughout everyone. I like the moment in the kitchen where everyone's just coming in to work after the day, into episode 2, and it's just everyone's just reading this stupid list of non-negotiables, and like everyone just comes in and goes, what's that? And they go, non-negotiables, and then it just continues just getting worse and worse. Like everyone's just like, what the fuck? And then it finally culminates in like him telling everyone about what he said to Claire, and then Marcus comes in and everyone just kind of goes, ooh, and it just kind of stops, and everyone just, Kami offers his support to Marcus privately, and Marcus goes, you gotta keep us afloat. That's what I want. Like, so he's like, you gotta help make this succeed. And then, and I think because he quit smoking as well, so he's trying to do the right thing, basically, and he's just chewing constantly, because it's just not. It's a stressful time in his life, and he's just stressed to fucking. So he's just constantly chewing this gum, nicotine gum, I imagine. Yeah, I find that character so fascinating. So much of the show is like 90% of the show is face close-ups. Just everyone can do such a good job of conveying like so much with just eyebrows, faces, just the structure of like a face. And so you get so many more, like, you also get loads of flashbacks with him and Claire, of like having conversations and how it relates to the current situation. I like those. There's one like a person basically gets cut up because she's that was the other thing that I was going to say. I would love it if this show had a spin-off where it was, but mainly because I love the character so much, because she's only been in 2 seasons and she's barely in any of it. But Claire is like one of the best characters. I just really love Molly Gordon. She's so good, like in this show, that she's like the mother in How I Met Your Mother. Like you had like 8 seasons of build up to the mum, and no one expected them to pull off the perfect casting of like getting someone who everyone loved, everyone acknowledged, and they did it. They managed to do it in season 9 or whatever season it was, the last one, and then everyone was pissed because they killed her, and it was just like, why would you build up this perfect character, then cast the perfect person, and then just kill them? And you're like, okay. But yeah, so that's why I feel like with Molly Gordon as Claire, she's so perfectly simple in this role. And what I would love is if they did a spin-off of The Bear, which is her doing like a Scrubs, not Scrubs style, but like a hospital drama, like her path to them maybe getting back together. I don't know if they'll get back together, but I would love it if you saw concurrently like their lives, where she's in a hospital and he's in the bear, like working the bear, and like all of her struggles, all of his struggles, and then kind of leading up towards them getting back. Like you have the moment where they get like, you see her side of the bear experience, and then the breakup side of the experience, and then the get like her life going after that, and then it all culminates. I would love that. I don't know if they would ever do it. I don't think it's like ever gonna happen, but that would just be something if you wanted to do more bear. Because that's the also thing, because you can get so many of the characters from the show to come back and do like cameos. Like I think How I Met Your Mother did the spin-off with Hilary Duff, I think. Because like the Fax brothers, they get a lot more play in this season, which I really enjoyed. Because you get random John Cena cameo as like one of the cousins or something. But yeah, they're like childhood friends or something. I feel like they knew each other, and that's why Claire was a part of it. So you can have them. Everyone in this show knows everyone, so everyone could have like interacted with these people in the past and everything. Because you'd have Richie, you'd have like John Bernthal coming in. You could have like loads of character moments with that. Like I reckon it would really work. It will never happen, but that's just something to demand if anyone out there really likes that idea. Because I just think that character in that hospital situation, you could have so many like scrub moments of like the deep scrub moments. That sounds so stupid, but like, because Scrubs is a comedy, but like you would have those moments where it's like funny, and then just earth-shatteringly real. I think that would just work. Marcus doesn't get much play. He gets a dead mom at the beginning, and then he's just kind of sidelined as like he's just working on the perfect dessert because he saw a flower. So I'm like, I wish Marcus got a bit more play, because he's just had his mum die. Like, he gets one nice moment with Sid, where they're talking on the stairs after clearing out Marcus's parents' house, or mum's house. Because, yeah, he hates his dad and stuff like that, because his dad was never there. And I like their moment together, but because they basically reconciled the awkward... he wanted to date her, but she wasn't into the idea. So I'm sure they'll maybe... I feel like they're going to get together at some point, but I'm happy with them, again, just staying friends. I think it's just like an awkward moment, and you're just like, oh, yeah, no, that we can move past this, and we'll just get along. Our lives aren't in this. Who else gets who gets play? Ibrahim, I apologize if I said that fucking wrong. He gets against. I think he gets kind of sidelined because he's just running like the sandwich bit out the side, so he doesn't really get any emotional arc this season. He's just kind of there. Sweeps is another character who kind of gets some play. He's basically, he doesn't have much. He just gets like, he's gone from like serving to he's doing wine. So he's got like a little arc where he does wine thing. Uncle Jimmy gets some play. He's basically the financer, so he's like, get me money. I like the robot or the computer. I think his name is the computer. That's a good bit where it's just like he comes in and just goes, here's all this shit and whatnot. But he also has the problem of, I think he just loses all his money, or like he's lost a lot of his money. And so it's basically like, if you don't get this star, I have to pull the plug. So it puts more pressure on. So yeah. Other than that, yeah, not a lot more happens. What else happens? Let me just think. Yeah, it's just. I think the problem is that because I think I've seen a lot of people saying this isn't as good as season 2, but it's very difficult to live up to the highs of season 2. I really enjoy all of this show as one collective like story. I think it does a very good job of running like bang 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 back to back. There's not been a show that I've been this stressed watching, but in a good way. Just through sheer dialogue alone, like so much like sound design. All of this show is just so well done to crank up that tension, and you're just like, how? Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I can't really. I'd say this is like a solid 8.5 out of 10. Like, I had some issues, mainly with the ending, because I thought there would be a more deeper. Like, this is, I just think, because shows have trained you to do this. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing. But, like, I was expecting there to be a more lenient moment from Olivia Colman. In her speech about why she closed the restaurant, to like accentuate to Kami how. Oh, that was the other thing. I'll get back to my point in a minute. But Kami meeting Joel McHale's like ex-chef moment was very like, oh, yeah, I can see why you're an asshole, but you're also kind of right, because he basically goes up and he just begs, like, he goes, you caused me so much stress and pain and all of this. And he goes, you're welcome. What? Why would I say thank you and whatnot? And it's just like, I made you the greatest chef there is. Like, you wanted this. You caused this. I didn't cause this. You caused this because I made you what you are. And you wanted to be this. So that I really enjoyed. I was just like, fuck you, Joel McHale. Like, he does that smarmy asshole very well. But yeah, back to my point of Olivia Colman. I was just expecting Olivia Colman to have like a more profound moment with Kami about like, it's not about achieving the star or something like that. It's about being with other people, and like the stress and everything is wiped away by all the other people. I don't know. I just felt like there'd be a moment where that was the reason, or there was a better moment as to why she was shutting down. But it was just like, nah, I'm just tired of this. Which, fair enough. But I did like the moment where it's like, the next time you see me, just call me by my name. Don't call me chef. I like that because it just puts like and he goes, yeah, because he goes, yes, chef, and it's just like, yeah. Next time, I hope he does call her by her name. But yeah, ultimately, like I said, 8.5 out of 10. I think super solid show. I think season 2 was a 9.5, and season 1 I think was a 9. So like very marginal differences. But that's just me basing it on. I watched season 1 and 2 back to back in like a day, because it's only 5 hours roughly per season. So like this then had a gap, and I wasn't expecting season 3 so soon. So I will happily watch more of this. I'm very interested to see what happens. I'm really interested to see what the resolution to Claire and Kami is. I want to know what Richie does. I want to see that wedding, because I'm sure there's going to be a wedding episode next. Because I imagine Kami's going to get invited. Because like, why not? Nat's probably going to be there because they're all they're all close. Like, there's no tension between any of them, so I'm sure they'll get invited. I'm sure they've been invited. We just only know that Richie hasn't RSVP'd. So yeah, I'm interested to see if Nat gets sidelined now that she's a mum, or how much stress she's got into that world. I want to see more Marcus, because Marcus is like a really good character. And there's a moment when Nat's like talking to the computer, and it's just like, yeah, don't fire Marcus. Because like all he does is make like 2 desserts, and she's like, yeah, fuck you, just I will kill you if you fucking fire Marcus. Because like that's how important Marcus is to the show. But like, they didn't do much with him, and I'm hoping that there's more. Like, he's very relaxed and laid back, but I was expecting more of like the toll of his mum dying to weigh a bit more on the show, because it just feels like they killed her to build tension in the last season, and they didn't know really what to do with him this season. So I'm hoping something gets done. I'm hoping, like, I was expecting his like, I felt like this show was building to everyone having their moment to come together, and I'm hoping that happens next season, because so many like arcs are coming together. Because Tina was struggling to keep up with everything, with Carmen's demands, because everything kept changing. You had the Marcus's project with making the perfect dessert. Because I was expecting all of this to culminate, and I like that the moment that they just find out that the reviewer for the Michelin people has already been and gone, and because they'd done the menu differently every time, they couldn't remember the dish that they'd served on the, like, when it happened. So they're just like, oh, we gotta go get a duck, because it was maybe a duck dish. And then send John Cena, and then that never comes back. So I was just like, oh, okay. But yeah, overall, really good show. If you haven't watched it, I'm sorry I spoiled it, but like, if you have watched it, what do you think? Leave comments in the down below. If you wouldn't mind, give us a like, share it with your friends who maybe aren't sure, and they can hear me gush about why it's good. Yeah, ultimately, thank you for listening. And I'll see you in 2 weeks, because next week is a break, because I'm going to be 26. And fuck doing a podcast. No, I like doing this, but I want a break. And yeah, why not? So I'll see you all in a couple weeks. And bye-bye.